Last night, President Trump posted an AI-generated image of himself as the Pope, apparently ordering a one-way ticket to hell. Who posts a photo of themselves dressed like a guy who died a week ago?
Melania Trump revealed that the theme of this year's White House Christmas decorations is America the Beautiful, which is a big change from her previous theme, Eyes Wide Shut.
If you thought things couldn't get worse, buckle up because Colin Jost and Michael Che just turned political chaos into a comedy demolition derby. They're roasting Donald Trump and Melania so aggressively the Secret Service probably took notes. This is humor sharper than Che's delivery and facial expressions more devastating than Jost's wedding photos. What begins as a punchline quickly turns into a full-blown comedic crime scene, and you won't believe who gets roasted next.
Bigger story, of course, this week is that Donald Trump has been accused of a range of sexual misconduct by now 10 different women. But the truth is, they're still just allegations. This is America, and Trump is entitled to a defense. So let's hear him out.
When you looked at that horrible woman last night, she would not be my first choice, that I can tell.
Trump, of course, is claiming his accusers are only coming out now for fame and publicity. Yeah, that's every little girl's dream.
Imagine walking into a room where Colin Jost and Michael Che are already sharpening their comedy knives like two over-caffeinated surgeons preparing for a roast that should probably violate the Geneva Conventions.
Isn't your first choice. The problem is you weren't her choice, period. And what are you trying to tell us exactly? If you did find her more attractive, then you would have groped her? It's like telling your girlfriend, oh, come on, I would never cheat on you, baby. I don't have any good options right now. And by the way, we'd probably believe Trump more if while he talked, he wasn't groping the air the entire... It's kind of an embodiment of his entire presidency because it's just a violation of norms that no other president or person has ever conceived of.
The moment they lock eyes on anything even remotely connected to Trump or Melania, it's over. The energy shifts. The lights dim. Somewhere, an eagle cries and then the chaos begins. One joke lands, and suddenly it feels like someone opened a window during a hurricane.
Trump responded to a report showing the U.S. economy was declining by posting, "Be patient." And if his brain gets any worse, he's gonna be patient. Attorney General Pam Bondi claimed that if not for Donald Trump seizing fentanyl at the border, 75% of all Americans could be dead. But hey, don't threaten us with a good time. I believe these accusations are part of a conspiracy to rig the election. Only Donald Trump could have sex scandals, no political experience, poll at 0% with minorities, and still say,
If you're enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. Trump's ego takes the first hit, just a gentle tap. Really the comedic equivalent of poking a sleeping bear with a selfie stick. But that's all Jost needs. Once he starts, he commits. He commits like a man still trying to prove he deserved Scarlett Johansson. And honestly, who wouldn't?
He was at the Pope's funeral. That means he walked past an open casket and was like, oh, we should do a Who Wore It Best. Truly like if the week Queen Elizabeth died, I posted this. I don't know, I just feel like as a Catholic, Trump's photo just feels slightly disrespectful. Also, if Trump really wants to be Pope, he should probably stay away from JD.
Meanwhile, Che enters the roast like he's been waiting his whole life for this exact moment. He doesn't walk, he glides. He leans into the mic with the confidence of a man with nothing to lose and everything to laugh at. Together, they turn Trump into a walking, talking setup for every punchline imaginable. No quotes needed, his actions alone are comedic scaffolding strong enough to build a skyscraper. Melania enters the conversation like a character added in season 3 when the writers start experimenting. They never call her mysterious, but the tone makes it obvious. She's portrayed as someone permanently 5 seconds away from asking Siri how to quietly disappear. The humor is sharp, but the target is always the absurdity, the optics, the bubble-wrapped reality around the whole situation.
Shut down, SNAP food benefits ran out of funds today, but the government still provides needy families with free food through the Second Amendment. Japan's new Prime Minister Sanai Takachi said during a press conference that she is nominating President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. And I can't believe I get to say this, but thank God nobody listens to women.
Jost casually wonders how someone can look so consistently unamused, as if she's been held hostage by bad decisions since the early 2000s. Che adds the comedic side eye, implying that if political fashion needed a mascot, Melania would be a floating billboard for Help Me Energy. Their transitions are seamless, two chefs slicing reputations at high speed with knives made of sarcasm. They don't pretend to be balanced. They just emotionally sideswipe Trump, implying he runs on Diet Coke and spite. Then they slide back to Melania, whose default expression screams, "I'm not mad, I'm just lost." They joke about her drifting through political chaos like someone who joined the wrong Zoom meeting and stayed because they were too polite to leave. Che imagines her decorating the White House while secretly drafting escape plans disguised as holiday themes.
Cabinet meeting, President Trump acknowledged that due to his tariffs, this Christmas, children might only get 2 dolls instead of 30 dolls. Which brings me to my new segment, Oh Hell No.
Oh, hell no!
Now, I rarely talk directly to the president, but you listen and you listen good. If I wake up on Christmas morning and I run downstairs to find only 2 dolls under my tree, I will lose my effing mind. There better be a second tree with 28.
Next, they dismantle the power dynamic. They treat Trump's leadership style like a malfunctioning printer, loud, unpredictable, constantly demanding attention. Jost suggests every decision he makes feels like the result of a coin toss by someone who's never held a coin. Che adds that if chaos were a brand, Trump would already have the trademark. They dive into his press appearances with the enthusiasm of archaeologists discovering ancient tablets of nonsense. Jost jokes every speech feels like a group project where the leader didn't read the assignment. Che compares watching Trump talk to a book report on a book he's never seen or believed existed. Then, like prose, they pivot back to Melania, now a recurring motif, a character defined by mute confusion.
The time the U.S. government shut down was during President Trump's first administration in 2018, which was so long ago, we look like this. President Trump claimed that one of the reasons the government shut down is because Democrats want transgender for everybody, which is obviously not true. But at the same time, I wouldn't say no to my own set of these.
Che wonders aloud how someone can be in the spotlight yet look like they want a refund for the experience. Jost imagines she smiled once in 2008 and instantly regretted it. The laughter builds. Momentum takes over. They craft jokes with the precision of two experts in comedic destruction. Trump's ego becomes an Olympic sport. Melania becomes the silent observer blinking in Morse code. Jost imagines her diary filled with question marks. Che imagines her waking up negotiating her contract with reality. Politics fades to the background. The roast becomes performance art, loud, absurd, and beautifully exaggerated.
The First Lady hosted a trick-or-treat event at what's left of the White House. And this is one of my favorite things that the president does because it's so clear he never trick-or-treated once in his life. Like, in his first term, here's how he gave candy to a kid dressed as a minion. Melania's just like, I guess that is how it's done. And then again this year, he did it to a kid dressed as DJ Marshmallow.
As the energy grows, they tackle headlines, controversies, reactions, interpreting everything with the accuracy of two comedians who professionally make sense of nonsense. Trump becomes the unreliable narrator of reality. Melania becomes the reluctant co-star in a show she never auditioned for. They explore his mannerisms, dramatic pauses, overconfident gestures like a magician who reveals his trick first but still insists he fooled you. Che imagines Trump claiming jokes were compliments. Jost imagines him releasing press statements in all caps. Meanwhile, Melania responds with a shrug, a sigh, and maybe a nod suggesting even she is confused by Earth. Once they finish the comedic autopsy of the Trump-Melania dynamic, they reflect on the public, how every headline becomes a setup, every appearance a new punchline waiting to happen.
Trump says he will appoint Fox News host Jeanine Pirro as interim U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C. Pirro celebrated the news with a bottle of wine every day for the last 50 years. President Trump announced plans for a 100% tariff on movies made outside the U.S. which is no problem for me because all the movies I watched were filmed in a Florida condo on a leather couch. Trump said he was interested in reopening Alcatraz because it represents something horrible and beautiful and strong and miserable and...
Jost and Che riff on how every moment sparks fresh material. Every unexpected quote becomes a comedic goldmine. They frame the entire political era as an unwanted reality show starring a man who loves attention more than oxygen and a first lady who seems miscast. Trump is described as someone who could trip over his own opinions. Melania feels like she could teleport away from responsibility if she concentrated hard enough. Exaggerations grow wilder. The satire hits harder. By the end, they leave one impression. Watching Trump and Melania navigate public life is a marathon of confusion, and Colin Jost and Michael Che are the commentators we never knew we needed. No outro. No bow. Just the aftershock of a roast so chaotic even the subjects would need a moment to understand what happened.
President Trump met with Chinese President Xi Jinping. When asked how the meeting went, Trump said this.
Overall, I guess on the scale from 0 to 10, with 10 being the best, I would say the meeting was a 12.
I guess Trump just wanted to show China we're still way worse at math. Trump also visited South Korea and was given a gold crown and served beef patties with ketchup for dinner.
Just when the storm should settle, it doesn't. The roast lingers like the smell of burnt popcorn, a reminder that something dramatic just happened. Jokes evolve into full theatrical reenactments. Che jokes Trump probably gives pep talks to his own reflection because mirrors count as supporters. Melania becomes the reluctant co-star of a cosmic comedy opera, mastering the art of looking present while mentally planning an escape to another dimension. She receives directions like an actress handed a script 5 minutes before filming. Look concerned, but make it fashion. The duo volleys between Trump's theatrics and Melania's cosmic confusion like juggling flaming bowling pins.
City Mayor Eric Adams met with President Trump yesterday to discuss the city's concerns, namely that Trump's deportations have dramatically cut New York's supply of thick shorties. I love that name. President Trump says Catholics loved an image he posted of him dressed as the Pope last week, but I just find it hard to believe that anyone in the Catholic Church would be into something so juvenile.
Suddenly Trump isn't just dramatic, he's a man who'd give a victory speech after assembling an IKEA chair, even if he built it upside down. They riff on how he treats every minor inconvenience like a conspiracy. A broken pen becomes sabotage. A misplaced note becomes evidence. Melania, meanwhile, wonders why pens needed to exist. Jost imagines Trump narrating his own life to dramatic music that never plays. Che imagines Melania pausing mid-walk like an NPC waiting for her coding to resume. By the time the roast winds down, the entire saga has transformed into a comedic epic. Relentless punchlines. Absurd imagery. Satire hitting harder than a Wi-Fi outage during a Zoom meeting. It ends not with closure but with the sense that the absurdity will continue forever, and Jost and Che will always be there, ready and delighted to roast whatever comes next.